Hello and welcome to today's podcast. One of the questions I have been asked often is why I became an entrepreneur. And I wanted to use this podcast to kind of give you an insight into what made me decide to start my own business. Even though I've always known that I want to be an entrepreneur, it took a process over the years to get me to where I am today. And some of the reasons that got me here is what I want to share with you. Now, I started my business actually while I was working full-time. And when I got laid off, that prompted me to actually go and do my business full-time. Because at the time, working part-time and actually doing the business was becoming a big deal, and I knew that I had to commit to one of them. So when I finally got canned at my company, I took that as an opportunity to go out there and do my own thing. But the first reason why I became an entrepreneur is that throughout my life, I have known that entrepreneurship was something that eventually was going to be my life. And, I know a lot of people have similar stories where, they had the lemonade stand, or there were things that they were doing. People were, have newspaper routes. People had landscaping businesses while they were young. I mean, some of us just know that that's what we wanted to do. And for me, it was the same thing. I remember buying my first car, my very first car in college for $3,000 from a domain name that I bought for $35. And then I got a call from somebody from Germany that said, hey, I want that domain name. And I sold it for $3,500. So I've always been that person that's just looking at a way to chart my own path. And gift card rescue just happened to be the first of many things that I ended up doing. But at the bottom of it all is an entrepreneurial spirit that I've always had. And another reason is that I've always been curious. One of the things that people around me will tell you is that I am, if you take my phone and you go through my pictures, you will see that most of the pictures I take with my phone are about ideas. I'm always looking at things wherever I am, trying to see what people are doing and understanding how I could apply that idea or that process or that methodology to do something else. When I travel out of the country, I'm looking at what others are doing in other countries. What are they doing over there that I can bring here? Or what are they doing that I can learn to improve something we're doing here? Or what are they doing over there that nobody's doing here that I can adapt here? So there's always opportunities around you. You have to look. And I'm one of those people that's very curious. I could be watching television and watching a commercial, and then it would trigger something, and then I'll take a picture of the screen because that would remind me of exactly why I took that picture. So curiosity has been a big part of my entrepreneurial journey, and being curious means that I'm always full of ideas, and then the question becomes, which of those ideas is worth doing? And experience then helps you pick those ideas. Now, I said that I worked in corporate America, and I think that that was a good learning experience for me because everything that I've learned there, the departments that I worked in, the skills that I developed have been applicable to my work. I worked in HR, I worked in compliance, I worked in operations, I worked in marketing. All those places that I worked, I have taken something that I used in my current businesses. So working in corporate America was a good training ground. But at the same time, I did not like corporate America. I did not like the structure of it. I did not like the rules that I had to follow all the time. I did not like the fact that you have to pay your dues to rise. Even though if you know what you're doing and you can take it as far as you can go, you have to pay your dues in most places. And for me, staying in one company or trying to make a career where, I've seen people who've been there 30, 40 years or 20, 30 years or 15 years to be able to get to where they get to just being loyal to one company. It's great, but it wasn't for me because I did not have that patience to wait and pay my dues when I know that I could do more, when I could do better, that I could take on more, but I just had to sit and be a team player and just wait. So the structure of it did not appeal to me, and also because there was something about the anxiety and uncertainty that also came with corporate America that really frightened me. And what do I mean by that? I got laid off during the recession, the 2008 recession, and our bank got bailed out by the government, and 50,000 of us got canned, and I was one of them. It wasn't a pleasant period, and that taught me a very important lesson. Number one, that I was nothing. When it comes to corporate America, you may think about how much you mean to your company, and I realized that at the end of the day, you're just a number on somebody's spreadsheet, and you can easily be axed, and that's it. And I remember getting home after getting laid off, and really feeling hurt by it, because I had put in 7 years into this company. This was my life, and I mean, I was dedicated to it, and then all of a sudden, I was just a number, and somebody needed to cut costs and slash something, and they decided that, hey, I need to go. And then you go start somewhere else, and then you become somebody else's number. And for me, that was not going to fly, because that uncertainty I wasn't comfortable with. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of friends who work in corporate America, who are very successful, who enjoy what they do, and the most important thing in life is to enjoy what you do. No matter what you're doing, you should enjoy it. And for me, that was not something I enjoyed, because there were many things about it that did not fit my personality. And one of them was just the uncertainty of the fact that I was nothing, and somebody could just erase me from the company just because they needed to cut costs. And that did not sit well with me. So the odds of taking my own chance with my own business, running my own company, appealed better to me than waiting for somebody's good graces, you know, to determine my future. So that was one of the things that I did not enjoy about that. So those were the things that motivated me to go into business. But when I actually got into business, then I discovered a whole new set of things that actually made me see that this was where I belonged. And so I've told you what motivated me to go into it. But now that I've got into it and been in for a long time, these are the things that keep me in business. These are the things that keep me motivated to keep being an entrepreneur. And the first one is the process of building something. I just enjoy building companies. And watching an idea go from just an idea to a business, a thriving business, is one of the most rewarding things you can ever do. Now, getting from A to Z is going to take a lot of work and a lot of failure. You're going to fail several times along the way. But that process of failing, tweaking, and then finally getting to the secret sauce and then being able to set up a viable company is one of the most rewarding things that makes me get up every morning and want to do it again. So the whole building process is one of the reasons why I remain an entrepreneur. Secondly, I like being busy. I like being busy, and I am involved in several projects now, and I get a lot of questions about, how do you do it all? I enjoy being busy. I know I cannot run just one company. I just know that, because once I get it to the point where it's self-sufficient, I'll get bored. I enjoy the gestation of new ideas, and also just the whole craziness of it all. And so that keeps me going. That keeps me going. You know, when I get home, my wife will tell you, sometimes I'm very restless, because just sitting still and just doing nothing, I just don't know how to do that. So I need to be active. Even when I'm home, just sitting down and being still is a problem. I need to be doing something, I find a reason to be active. So it's just my personality. I enjoy being busy, and entrepreneurship just fits right into it. The third reason that I remain an entrepreneur is because of the freedom. Now, this is one of the things that people get a lot of misconceptions about. You know, people tell you, oh, you can set your own schedule, you can do whatever you want. Freedom as an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you just have time to just hang out, or you can just sit home and just, you know, on your laptop and type a few things and then go to bed and wake up. No, that's not it. At least not for me. Freedom for me means that I get to set my own schedule the way I want it, and I enjoy that a lot. So what does that mean? So if today I feel like I want to put all my meetings at the later part of the day, then I can come in at 10 o'clock, but I'm going to leave probably at 8 or 9 p.m. And then when I get home, I'm still working. So freedom doesn't mean that you're not working. I mean, I'm working probably 60 to 80 hours, because I'm always on. I am always on. And so it is not a 9 to 5 thing or an 8 to 10, whatever. It's just you're working. And if you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, one of the most challenging thing we have is how to maintain a work-life balance. And there is nothing like that, because everywhere you are, your mind is on. But the freedom that comes with entrepreneurship is that you can decide that tomorrow you're going to front load all your meetings, and in the afternoon you're going to focus on just you and do things that are on your schedule. Or you can decide that tomorrow you don't want any meetings. That freedom is very liberating, because nobody tells you what to do. Really, nobody tells you what to do. You decide what to do. Conversely, when things go wrong, it's all on you. So that comes with the territory. But the freedom is very exciting for me. And then number 4 is mentoring. As I've gained experience, as I've gained knowledge, as I've proven that I know what I'm doing, as I've enjoyed success in the businesses that I'm in, I have also been able to find opportunities to give back. And one of the ways that I enjoy giving back is mentoring. Mentoring would-be entrepreneurs. I speak at a lot of the universities around this, Washington, Baltimore area, and that brings me a lot of joy, talking to would-be entrepreneurs, sharing my experience with them, what they should do and what they should avoid. All that is what I'm about. I want to see a lot of entrepreneurs. I want to see people who have the passion for it succeed, and I'm happy to donate my time to make sure that the people who are hungry for it are able to get a fair shake at it. And another area that I mentor and volunteer is making sure that people have economic opportunities. So I work with a foundation that works in the inner city to try to create economic opportunities for people who would otherwise not have the means to do that. So the freedom of entrepreneurship also gives me the opportunity to donate my time to be able to do these other projects that provide fulfillment to me as a person. And then finally, if you are able to succeed, if the project that you're doing is a success, then there's also financial benefit to entrepreneurship. And one of the things that I remember years ago, I was one of my first employees that I hired. He asked me, do you want to be rich? And I said, well, I want to have enough money to be okay, without having to worry about my mortgage every month. But one of the things that I look forward to is to go out to lunch and buy lunch and not have to worry about how much I spent on lunch. That's my measure of entrepreneurial freedom. If I can go out and buy lunch and not have to worry about how much I spent, then I'm good. So the success, comes with it. But of course, as you can see, I am not putting success at the top of it, because it wasn't about the money for me. And really, if you're going into business for money, you'll be sorely disappointed, because there is no guarantee. But if you go at it with the right mindset, that you want to solve a problem that you've identified, and you want to go at it until you find a solution to it, the success will come with it. But I did not go into business for money. I just knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I wanted to do my own thing. I enjoyed the building process. I am very curious. And you put all that together, and that's where I am today. So I hope that gives you some background about what motivated me to become an entrepreneur. And I'm curious to hear about your story. Subscribe to our channel and listen to our next podcast. Thank you.